My name's Holly. I'm one of the owners of the Clock Shop. I was a high school teacher in my past life, and then I've been a stay-at-home mum for the past 12 years, and now here I am, co-owner with my husband.
And I'm Dan, second generation clock trader now, dad to 3 beautiful young kids. I grew up in the business. Mum and dad started the business, so we've been around it for a long time. But we've been away, travelled a lot overseas, had a lot of experience, seen some amazing things, but really excited to be back in the business now.
If somebody had asked us 10 or 15 years ago if we saw ourselves in this business, the answer was absolutely not. It had been a dream of mine since we got married almost 20 years ago to be in business together. I just didn't think it was going to be this business, but I'm so pleased that it's this business because it really feels right, and I'm so proud that we're taking over and carrying on the family tradition and building on all the hard work of Phil and Fran.
I guess the main reason we've come to take over the business is really timing and the opportunity. It was fascinating for me to be a part of the family business, and I learned so much. And I worked here as a young boy. I was 12 when they started the business. It was really just the timing, I would say, more than anything else. So we took over the business on the 20th of March 2020, last year, right before COVID hit. Literally 3 days before COVID hit.
The main challenge for me taking over the business just as COVID hit, even more than the stress of finances, was thinking about the impact on the staff. I just felt this overwhelming sense of responsibility for our employees. I see myself as like the mum of the employees, and that it's my job to look after everyone's emotional well-being and make sure that they feel happy and safe and respected and enjoy coming to work. I really would lay in bed at night worrying about how these families were. I just felt so much responsibility, and having never had employees before, I had never known that, and I was surprised at how much it pulled at my heart.
Yeah, the pandemic affected our business in many ways. And as Holly said, we had a great concern for staff, but in hindsight, I have a lot of comfort in that everyone had a very similar experience. So we've all been faced with varied challenges as a result of it, but the experience has kind of been the same in wanting to, provide the best opportunity for our staff, but also for our customers. And that's been a lot of challenges. People were able to purchase online, and we've really appreciated that support. But even in fulfilling those orders in a timely manner, dealing with customers' frustrations, delays, all those sorts of things, there's been many challenges. But we're really appreciative of the support. The future of the Clock Shop is changing in some ways and not in others. So what Phil and Fran have established in the last 27 years is an amazing shop here in Montville. We've had an online presence for many years, but that's where the growth of the business that I would like to see, that is our focus. So what we have achieved here in Montville in the store, and what the customers can come and experience, I'd love to provide that same opportunity for people online. It's difficult to translate into a digital space, but that's the goal. Our suppliers are all based most of the suppliers are based in Germany. In terms of finding new suppliers, each year previous to COVID times, we've travelled to Germany, and we go to a trade show while we're there and see what's kind of trending in terms of the sort of the Christmas space and any other associated products that might fit into the business. There's obviously a lot of German-made products that don't form a part of what we offer here, but we're always looking for new directions. So the trade fair offers us that opportunity to find new suppliers and new products. But generally it's been about building the relationships with our existing suppliers. So we also travel to the Black Forest and visit all the clockmakers, walk through the factory, see what they're doing, improvements, changes, discuss models, things that come up from customers, expectations, maybe some comments or certain models that they think are missing from the range, and we pass all that on to the suppliers.
It's been an ongoing journey of that annual relationship building every year in Germany. The thing that I love most about the Clock Shop is seeing people's face when they walk in the door. Just that moment of them stepping in, looking around, and just, wow, just having that moment of, I've never been in a place like this before. I love the feelings of nostalgia. I love the European vibe that it has. This shop is like stepping into another world, and I love seeing that transpire on people's faces when they come in. It just gives me such joy.
There's many things I love about the Clock Shop, and one is the great pleasure in the customer experience and that wow factor. The other thing that's really important for me and that I really value is the craftsmanship. You know, it's the attention to detail, the carving, the fascination with a product that it's been around for hundreds of years, clockmaking, and it's still made in traditional ways, traditional methods. There's small family-owned businesses, carved by hand in terms of cuckoo clocks or grandfather clocks. We work with master cabinet makers in Germany, and their attention to detail, they're beautiful products, and I really appreciate that. It's a big part of the experience for me, and that customers can come in and see the value in the products. They can actually read that in the product that you have, and they appreciate it and want to enjoy in that for themselves.
Some of the most memorable products that we have sold, for me, selling a grandfather clock to a beautiful lady for her 80th birthday, and knowing that all her life she has wanted a grandfather clock, and so all her kids and her husband came together to purchase a grandfather clock for this woman's 80th birthday. And to help them choose that, and to know the joy that this woman and also her family was getting from achieving a lifelong dream was just, it could make me cry. It's so beautiful. I can imagine this woman inside her house looking at this beautiful clock that she's dreamed about for years, and that's priceless. I mean, her kids will end up inheriting this clock, and every time they look at it, they're going to think of their mum, and then her grandchildren will probably have it, and it's always going to be a reminder of that woman and what she loved, and that's really, really special.
One of my most memorable sales was only just a few weeks ago, and a young boy, he was maybe 11 or 12, his name's Brandon. He'd been in the store maybe 3 months previous and picked out a cuckoo clock and was saving fiercely to come back and get this clock.
All his pocket money, saving all his coins.
Terribly excited, and laid all his cash out on the bench and took home his had to be mechanical, couldn't be a battery operated cuckoo clock, and took home his cuckoo clock, which was really, really special. There's lots of memorable sales for me. Selling as a young boy in the shop and selling a grandfather clock maybe when I was 14 or something like that was a real buzz, you know, for someone to part with thousands and thousands of dollars is pretty exciting as a young boy in the shop. But the memorable sales are the ones where people are just so excited. It's been like Holly said, it's been a dream or an ambition, or maybe it hasn't been that, and they just come into the shop and they're just so overwhelmed. They just need to have a clock.
They fall in love with something.
Yeah. To describe the Clock Shop to someone who's never been here before is difficult. It's one of a kind. So when you walk up to the building, it's quite unique in terms of the appearance of the building, but not too much is given away from the outside, so you're not really knowing what to expect as you walk through the door. And literally, as soon as you walk through the door, there is walls of hundreds of clocks, ticking, bouncing, pendulums swinging, cuckoos cuckooing, chimes, strikes. There's hundreds of different souvenirs and European Christmas decorations and beer steins and handcrafts from Germany, and it's complementary to the clockmaking and those other hand trades, handcrafted items. it's fascinating.
Describing the clock shop to someone who's never visited before, it's like entering into a magical European mountain village with this beautiful gabled and stone building, and you walk in and your senses are overwhelmed by this beautiful smell of timber, and you can hear the ticking of clocks and beautiful chimes going off. It's very calming, but it's honestly, it's like walking into a European wonderland.